Have you ever had one of those tension headaches that just doesn't go away? And instead it gets worse and worse as your shoulders get heavier and harder, and suddenly your shoulders resemble earrings because they've hunched up and are carrying the weight of the world. Well, I had one of those tension headaches last week, and my children thankfully were on spring break, and it created some space and some time for us to slow down. I was fortunate enough to be able to escape to have a highly anticipated massage. Knowing that I was going to have a massage, I left the house with a ball cap on, some gym clothes, no makeup, and excitedly rushed to address this headache of mine. Afterwards, I decided to get a few Easter goodies for my children, and I went into Lifeway bookstore to grab a few things, and as I was checking out, I could not find my car keys. After searching the entire store, the super nice clerk said, well, maybe you should go check your car. And I said, well, I've never locked my keys in my car before, but maybe that's a good idea. Sure enough, I went out to my car and my keys were in the ignition because I've been operating in a state of distracted. I've been trying to juggle so many things, all good work, but I've lost a little bit of the sight of what God is asking me to do, what His work is, because I found myself in this trap of trying to prove that I could do it all well. And instead, I ended up with a major tension headache and locked out of my car. And while I was sitting in the Lifeway parking lot and the only little sliver of shade that there was that day, God really humbled me. And because of my appearance, I think a lot of people thought that I was begging or needed some help because several people stopped to ask. And well, actually many walked by, and one kind woman stopped and asked me if I was okay, asked me if I needed a ride, while the others actually just walked by. Which I can't say that I blame them. But in that moment, I had actually purchased this book by Jenny Allen called Nothing to Prove. And it was like God stopped me out, locked me out of my car, and said, sit down, we need to talk. And I started reading this book, and it really helped put life back into perspective. I think that we all, in this day and age, feel a sense of work hard, and at least for me, a lot of times I feel like I need to do these things really well, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I thought when I started my journey that it was in the name of the Lord. And in that moment, and it was, but what I realized is along the way, I started feeling these pressures that were not from God and that were not of Him. Because He says I'm enough, whether I make the best dinner, whether I have the best lesson at my preschool, whether I have a great t-shirt, it doesn't matter to Him because He loves me at my worst. He calls me His, and He really knows me. And so in this moment when I was locked out of my car, I started reading this book, and it wrecked me. And I know that it was an intentional time in that hot parking lot of the mall, waiting for the tow truck to come pick the lock of my car, for me to remember that I have nothing to prove, and neither do you. And maybe some of you are trapped in fear right now. Maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you have an amazing mission on your heart, or a new business idea, or a new career path, or a marriage, or children, or whatever, but you're stuck in fear. And fear is a liar. And I've been chasing things thinking I need to prove that I can do this all and do it well. And forgetting that I don't. God already calls me His. He says I'm enough. And He says the same about you. I was thinking about how my journey of making t-shirts started. And it started with this Bible. And it started just with illustrated faith, painting in this Bible. And this particular page says, you called me out upon the water. And I think it has a lot to do with the season I'm in with making t-shirts, because I'm going to share with you, because I think it's important. And I don't know that enough resources are out there to see the real struggle I think that a lot of people put their best on Facebook, put their best on Instagram, put their best out there for the world to see, but often don't share where the glory really is. So I want to share with you quickly that I had the privilege of making these precious shirts for my son's school. Super cute little raglans, very soft, for a very special reason. And we made 200 of them, one at a time, in my home. And I had made shirts many times before and never had an issue. Well, this particular shirt that I chose did not hold the ink. And so we started to realize that there was a problem because the ink was washing out. That was the day my tension headache began. I felt so much shame and embarrassment and, I can't believe that I did that. But then after praying about it, God led me to a place of respond like I would, respond in abundance, and replace them all. And so grace upon grace, all 200 shirts are going to be replaced. And I learned an important lesson. But along the way, I also learned that I want people to see the way that I've had to grow and the way that God's used t-shirts to help draw me near to Him and to keep drawing me back every day. The beautiful illustration of this is when Jesus walks on the water in Matthew 14. I love at the bottom where on verse 27 it says, "But Jesus immediately said to them, 'Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid.' 'Lord, if it's you,' Peter replied, 'tell me to come to you on the water.' 'Come,' he said. Then Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and he began to sink. He cried out, 'Lord, save me.'" I felt a lot like that recently. I felt like God called me out on the water, and I ran out in faith, and I was so happy to be there and so excited to see what God was doing. And all of a sudden, I realized I was in deep waters, new territory, and I started to feel like it was my job to stay above the water. And so I took my eyes off of Him and started feeling like I can prove that I can do it all. And that's when the t-shirt fiasco happened and the ink washed out and I felt like I was sinking, and suddenly I realized, okay, Lord, grace upon grace, new mercies each day, pull me to the surface. And God, show me your way. Immediately, Jesus reached out His hand and caught him. "You of little faith," He said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed onto the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped Him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." I share this with you today because I think that someone watching has something that you know God's laid on your heart, but you're afraid. And I want to encourage you and say, fear's a liar. There are going to be mistakes, there are going to be trials. The wind and the rain will pick up. And you are going to sink. But you know what? You have a God who loves you, who's going to reach down into the deep waters and scoop you up and say, grace upon grace, I'm with you, and I love you at your worst. You're enough. And you have absolutely nothing to prove. I want to encourage you to pick up this book by Jenny Allen. It's fabulous. It's amazing. So be encouraged, step out on the water, and when you sink, because we will, know that you have a God who loves you and who will scoop you up, rescue you, set you on your feet, and send you on your way. But He will be with you.